Hinduism is one of the world's oldest and most diverse religions, with its roots dating back to ancient scriptures, known as the Vedas and Upanishads. The Vedas were composed around 1500 BCE and formed the foundational texts of Hinduism. They provided insights into the early Vedic society's beliefs, practices, and deities. Over time, philosophical ideas called Upanishads emerged, around 800 BCE, exploring the nature of reality, the self, Atman, and the ultimate reality, Brahman. The Upanishads are a collection of ancient philosophical texts that are considered the culmination of Vedic thought, encapsulating the core essence of the Vedas. There are around 200 Upanishads, of which 108 are commonly known, and in this around 13 Upanishads are considered to be the most important, and referred to as principal or Mukhya Upanishads. In our series on Upanishads, we will explore these 13 principal or Mukhya Upanishads. The selection of these primary Upanishads was based on several factors, including their antiquity, significance in terms of philosophical content, and their association with major Vedic schools. The core focus of the Upanishads was towards exploring the connection among rituals, cosmic realities, and the human body, and teachings were memorized for generations and passed on orally. Their profound teachings laid the groundwork for Hinduism's evolution into a more complex and multifaceted religion, with concepts like karma, dharma, and moksha gaining prominence. Of these 13 primary Upanishads, 2 are considered to be the Upanishads of the Rig Veda, 6 are considered Upanishads of the Yajur Veda, 2 Upanishads of Samaveda, and 3 are considered the Upanishads of the Atharva Veda. The Yajur Veda contains 2 main branches, the Shukla Yajur Veda and the Krishna Yajur Veda. The key difference between the two lies in their arrangement and style of presentation. The Shukla Yajur Veda, also known as the White Yajur Veda, is characterized by its use of verses or shlokas that are predominantly in a poetic and literary form. It contains the full verses in a clear, straightforward manner, making it easier to understand and recite during rituals. On the other hand, the Krishna Yajur Veda, also known as the Black Yajur Veda, has a more complex arrangement. The verses are often partially quoted, making the Krishna Yajur Veda more cryptic and challenging to interpret. It is considered more suitable for scholars and priests who possess a deeper understanding of Vedic rituals and symbolism. The Taittiriya Upanishad is one of the principal Upanishads associated with the Krishna Yajur Veda or Black Yajur Veda. The exact authorship of the Taittiriya Upanishad is unclear, as with many ancient texts, but it is traditionally attributed to the sage Taittiriya. Each chapter of the Taittiriya Upanishad is called a valley, which means a vine. Just like the vine that grows independently but remains attached to a main tree for support, each valley in this Upanishad stands as an individual unit, yet forms an integral part of the whole text. The Taittiriya Upanishad is divided into 3 parts known as the Shiksha Valley, concerned with the pronunciation and phonetics of the Vedic hymns, the Ananda Valley, centered on the nature of Brahman and the self, and the Bhrigu Valley, exploring the process of self-realization through deep introspection. Let us summarize its entirety and try to highlight some of its key points. Brahman and Atman. The Upanishad explores the nature of Brahman, the ultimate reality, and its relationship with Atman, the individual soul. Brahman is described as the unchanging, all-pervading, and eternal reality that transcends all dualities and forms the substratum of the entire universe. Atman, on the other hand, refers to the individual self or soul, residing within each living being. The Taittiriya Upanishad elucidates that the apparent separation between the Atman and Brahman is an illusion, and in truth, they are one and the same. This can be realized only through deep introspection and self-realization. Once this is realized, it will lead to a profound sense of unity, harmony, and liberation, as the individual recognizes their essential nature as an eternal and indivisible part of the universal consciousness. As part of Ananda Valley, the Taittiriya Upanishad delves into the nature of bliss or Ananda, and describes different levels of happiness. It expounds on the pursuit of true joy and fulfillment, rather than the fleeting pleasures derived from the material world. The Taittiriya Upanishad explains these different levels of happiness as Panchakoshananda, or 5 levels, sheaths or layers of happiness. Let us quickly take a look at each of these sheaths. The first sheath is the Anumaya kosha, derived from the physical realm, and is primarily concerned with the satisfaction of bodily needs and desires. The next is Pranamaya kosha, associated with the flow of vital energy or prana. When our life force, prana, is balanced and flowing harmoniously, we experience a higher level of contentment and joy. The third sheath is Manomaya kosha, or mental sheath, and is related to mind. Positive emotions, and a clear focused mind, contribute to happiness at this level. The fourth sheath is the Vijnanamaya kosha, or intellect sheath, where level of happiness arises from the realm of intellect and wisdom. It involves the joy of gaining knowledge, understanding complex concepts, and experiencing intellectual clarity. The last and the innermost is the Anandamaya kosha, or the sheath of pure bliss. This represents the innermost layer of existence, and is the source of supreme bliss and contentment. This level of happiness is not dependent on external factors or experiences, but is inherent in our true nature, and is beyond the limitations of time and space. The journey through these levels of happiness is seen as a progression towards self-realization and spiritual fulfillment. In Bhrigu Valley, the Taittiriya Upanishad explains the identity of Atman, with the ultimate reality Brahman, and teaches the seeker to recognize their divine nature. Why this concept is important is because it acts as a powerful reminder that each individual is not merely a limited, separate entity, but rather an eternal and divine essence, interconnected with the entire universe. The Taittiriya Upanishad also introduces the concept of prana, which is the life force sustaining all living beings, and is considered the essence of life itself. On a physical level, prana is responsible for breathing, digestion, circulation, and sensory perception, and is the force that animates the body, allowing it to function and interact with the external world. Beyond the physical aspect, it is intimately connected to the subtle aspects of consciousness and the mind. Prana is viewed as the bridge between the body and the mind, and its harmonious flow is essential for maintaining mental clarity, emotional balance, and spiritual awareness. Moreover, the Upanishad teaches that prana is not confined to the individual, but is part of the cosmic prana, the universal life force that pervades the entire creation. Education, in the context of the Upanishad, goes beyond academic learning and encompasses the holistic development of an individual, fostering not only intellectual growth, but also moral and spiritual advancement. In this context, the Taittiriya Upanishad places great emphasis on the value of education and the time-honored guru-shishya tradition as a means of acquiring knowledge and spiritual wisdom. A guru, spiritual teacher, was considered the source of wisdom and served as a guide and mentor to the shishya or disciple. The shishya, in turn, displayed reverence, humility, and a sincere desire to learn and grow under the guru's guidance. The Taittiriya Upanishad emphasizes that knowledge cannot be gained solely through books or intellectual pursuits. It requires direct transmission from an enlightened teacher who has realized the truth. In this aspect, the Taittiriya Upanishad proposed the concept of brahmacharya, which involves a dedicated period of student life, characterized by self-discipline, celibacy, and a thirst for knowledge. During this stage, students would live with their guru and imbibe knowledge through direct personal interaction, oral teachings, and experiential learning. The Taittiriya Upanishad also places great importance on chanting and reciting sacred verses as a powerful tool for spiritual growth and purification. Chanting involves the rhythmic repetition of sacred sounds, mantras, or verses from the Upanishad, Vedic hymns, and other sacred texts. Since chanting requires focused attention and concentration, they believed that this would help to quiet the mind and direct it towards a single-pointed focus. This focused attention calms the mental chatter, allowing the practitioner to enter a meditative state and experience a deeper connection with the divine. In today's world, the Taittiriya Upanishad remains relevant, as it offers timeless wisdom that transcends cultural and temporal boundaries. Its teachings encourage inner reflection, self-discovery, and the realization of one's higher potential. By embracing its principles, modern society can benefit from a greater sense of harmony, compassion, and mindfulness. In an age where materialism and superficial pursuits often dominate, the Taittiriya Upanishad serves as a guiding light, reminding individuals to seek deeper meaning and fulfillment in life, while contributing to a more compassionate and enlightened society as a whole. If you enjoyed this video, please do like, share and subscribe to Vedas Demystified, encouraging us to bring you more of such fascinating insights.